Yeah, definitely not. I've definitely felt that I've always been drawn into this more than anything. Like, I can't imagine how much of my life looking back has really just been leading me to here. So it's really great that you asked that. Now, I always knew, like, way back, that I was always going to want to save our environment and our world from all the different ways that we were tearing it apart. And when I say always, I really do mean always. Back when I was in kindergarten, we had a career day, and I went there dressed up as a biologist because I was obsessed about learning about animals. And when I would read about animals, I read as much as I could. Every single book that I would read when I was younger and still today is about animals. And I always found that I could not ignore how many species were really in trouble. All of these books were telling me that so many species were just in trouble from what we were doing. And I knew that I was called to do something. I had to do something about it. And as I was growing up, I realized that, I could focus on one species and help them and help conserve that one species and have an impact on that one environment because of that species or whatever. But if I really wanted to have a big impact, I needed to find a way to focus on the largest problem that we have out there today, which is climate change. Climate change is huge. It's impacting everything. So if we can solve climate change, it makes solving all of these other issues like the conservation of species and polluting the environment. If we can help climate change first, which is going to be the hugest impact on our whole world, then we can really get to the impacts of other impacts that we're having and fix those problems as well. So I knew that I wanted to impact climate change somehow. And when I went out and I started researching all the different possible ways I could do this, I looked into, becoming an employee. But I found that what if I don't agree with the leaders of that company and the direction that they're headed? Or what if they are looking for somebody who has more experience when it's really difficult to get experience if you're just starting out? And so what I found was that entrepreneurship was a way to really bridge these gaps where I could go out and know that I would be able to gather all the experience that I need in order to be able to do it and prove to myself that I can. And I don't have to prove it to other people that I can do this job that I know I can do. While I was doing this research, I was also helping a family member and a friend build their own businesses. And what I found was that leads are really like the lifeblood of all businesses. And if I can help businesses generate leads, then I can really help sustain these businesses and keep them in business and keep them running even through any obstacle that they face, or whichever direction the market is changing, or whether another pandemic comes through. All those things, I could really help them. What I then realized when I reflected back on this was that I just increased my impact by 10 to maybe 100 times as much as what I was expecting. Because before, I was expecting to, work on conservation for a single species. And then I went to looking at climate change as a whole and having an impact on that as an employee. But then realizing when I've created this business where I can impact several businesses and all of them are impacting climate change, that becomes this huge exponential curve that I've just increased on. So this is really what I was seeking all along, was I was seeking that ability to have the largest effect that I could and largest impact. And I knew that this has really just been drawing me all along the way, that I have been drawn to become an entrepreneur. And this is where I can really have the largest success in my life.